So on this week's episode of Homegrown Whitetails, we're actually going to double dip a little bit here. And we're going to follow along with team member Jake Balthazar on a couple of hunts, one from this year, from 2017, and then we're going to go back in the archives a little bit, back to 2015, and tag along with Jake on a hunt that I was actually fortunate enough to be there with him and film him on. But the hunt from this year, from 2017, it was like a microcosm of what our season was. Between work and kids, as we've touched on so much, Jake's stuck in a tree by himself again, self-filming, and it's in a really thick area. It's a great spot. Jake's been fortunate enough to see some really good bucks out of this area, and everything unplays and unfolds, and it's not an early season hunt, or it's not a food plot hunt where it's self-filming is a little bit easier because you have that room for error. Instead, it's a November hunt. It's a rut hunt. It happens like that, and that's essentially what happens in this hunt. So I think what really was fun about this hunt was the friendship and the camaraderie, because we were actually able the next day to all get together. Jake, Bo, myself, Jake's uncle, and it was fun because we had that camaraderie, the track, and finding the deer together. And I might have gave Jake a heart attack when I thought I saw the deer and didn't really see the deer, but it was a fun time. That's part of this that we enjoy as much as anything else is the friendships and the bonds that we share, over this passion and love that we have for deer. And then the second hunt, we're actually going to flashback a little bit again, back to 2015 on a deer that we called Fat Boy. And this was on a lease that Jake and I shared together with my dad. And Jake and I had a lot of fun that night. And it was funny because it was the first night we went in after this deer, and Jake might have made a little bit of a shot that we weren't 100% sure about. So his reaction on the footage is actually, it's really funny. I guess I'm the one that probably ruined that, because when he looked up at me, my face was probably like stark white and straight when I saw the shot. And you see all this excitement and emotion on Jake's face, and then all of a sudden it just kind of disappears. I'm to blame for that. So I hope you guys enjoy these two hunts this week as we take along with team member Jake Balthazar.
Alright guys, it's November 8th. I went and sat this afternoon. I didn't do an interview in the tree because I had deer on me as soon as I climbed in the stand. About a little after 4, I could hear a buck chasing a doe. I could hear him grunting, I could hear him snort wheezing. And where he was in the stand off to my right, it was so thick. And sure enough, well, she come through about 25 yards, but it was so thick I got a little bit of her in the viewfinder on the camera, and I couldn't see him yet. And I knew he was coming. I drew back, and he was coming closer to me, so I couldn't get the camera down. I was already at full draw, and I just got a little glimpse of him in the viewfinder, so I'm gonna apologize for not getting it on camera. It is what it is, but hopefully we so I got him slowed down at 18 yards. I was at full draw. When I let go, I hit a twig, and that twig deflected my arrow straight down. I hit him in the guts, right in front of the back hip. Arrow went through, and the doe was behind me at the time. and he walked back to where they came from. And the thing is, his guts were hanging out of him, and he was walking pretty slow with the tail flicker. So it's a good buck, and we're gonna have to let him stay overnight. Sucks. Then I just look at the weather, and we got 90% chance of snow and rain tonight. So it's gonna be a long, sleepless night. We'll bring the cameras out tomorrow, and hopefully we can recover him. Hopefully. So he's a pretty good buck. But stay tuned. See what we can do. Bring the dogs in. He went probably, I don't know, 500 yards, 600 yards, maybe more. We were running out of hope, and all of a sudden Bo says, "Hey, you want to look at your deer?" I said, "Yeah, I want to look at my deer." And you know, there he was. He was laying on the side of a hardwoods, which that was the last place I thought he'd be. But yeah, here he is. Going back to 2015. This was my first video buck that I was lucky enough to harvest. I remember we were sitting at work, me and Dustin said, "Hey, we're going hunting tonight." I said, "Okay, let's go." He's like, "I'm gonna film you though." So I'm like, oh boy. I remember it was getting dark, you know, getting darker out, and I think we both were on our phones. And all of a sudden Dustin says, "Shoot her." I look up, I'm like, all right, you know, I put my phone away, and I look up, and there he is making a scrape at the edge of the food plot. It was just you know, one of those memorable nights. You know, first of all, it was my first video buck, and then to share it with Dustin and his dad, you know, and get the cameras rolling on that. So it was just a night, you know, I'd probably never forget in my life.
I'm not sure about it. It was a little forward. I thought high and low it was pretty good. There wasn't much penetration on it, so with our work schedule tomorrow, I'm not sure how we're gonna do this. We gotta be at work at 7 a.m. and we don't want to go in there and push him out of there tonight yet, so I don't know what. We'll have to watch the footage and see what happens here.
Congratulations, my man.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
That's a stud.
It wasn't the best shot in the world, but it did the trick with the 2-blade rage. So I just want to say thank you to Dustin and Hugh for giving me an opportunity to come out and hunt with these guys. Me and Dustin planted this food plot. It was pouring rain, and we were running on pretty much no sleep because we worked night shift. And it just goes to show how you put a little work in, and
it's going to pay off. So this is the only deer we saw tonight. He came out and he made a scrape, and about 35 yards we hit him, and it was an iffy shot, but you shoot the 2-blade rage and good things happen.